Hello and welcome to the first ever sports podcast here on Podcast Universe. I am your host, Ben, and this podcast is brought to you by Pixel Crew, our other channel. Be sure to go check that out, Pixel Crew. Today, on our first ever sports, I'm going to go ahead and tell you what we'll be talking about on most of these episodes. Now, I want these to be around 20 to 30 minutes long, and it'll be talking about a wide range of sports. Probably not like golf and stuff. Golf, rugby, maybe a little bit of soccer we may talk about, but I don't really know much about soccer, so I don't really want to comment too much on it because I don't have much really to say on it. We're going to go ahead and look at the scores for today, which is April 26th. So if you're watching this later in the future, of course, this is actually not going to be happening. The Cleveland Cavaliers beat the Boston Celtics 101-93 to complete the four-game sweep in the first round of the NBA playoffs. Currently, the Raptors and Wizards are up 3-0 in the series. The Wizards are winning 79-61, so it looks like the Wizards are going to also sweep that series. The Clippers actually did beat the Spurs today, so the Spurs now have a 2-1 game lead, and the Clippers did finally get one back. And the Rockets and Mavericks play later today at 8 o'clock Central Time. And now we're going to move to MLB, as we saw the Tigers beat the Indians 8-6. Orioles beat the Red Sox 18-7, scoring 7 runs in the first 3 innings and 6 runs in the seventh inning alone. The Brewers beat the Cardinals 6-3. Lance Lynn now with 2 losses on the year. The Astros sweep the Athletics. That is 3rd straight win for the Astros, and that is the 3rd straight loss now for the Athletics, aka what a sweep is. The Padres beat the Dodgers. Padres are now 11-9. Dodgers are now 11-7. Mets are currently in the top of the first, beating the Yankees with a runner on first. In the top of the first, the Mets right now are 14-4, one of the hottest teams with that 11-game winning streak that they went on. Now moving to the NHL playoffs, the Canadiens are currently beating the Senators 1-0, and if they keep that up in the third period, then they will go ahead and go on to win the playoffs, and I will be right back. My apologies. Continuing with the NHL, the Wild beat the Blues 4-1 with 2 goals in the third period to win that matchup as that series as well. Now, I'm not really sure the teams in soccer, but I'm going to go ahead and give you the scores. Everton beat Manchester United 3-0. My bad. Arsenal and Chelsea are tied. They tied. Real Madrid beat Celta de Vigo. I'm not sure how to pronounce that. I'm gonna probably get hate comments or something, but sorry, I'm not really a soccer fan. Beat them 4-2, and that is all these scores I have. Again, some sports just aren't really my thing. I do like baseball. I do like basketball for the most part, and I don't really have any. It doesn't look like there's any college baseball stuff happening, scores. At least I'm sure there are, but I'm not really sure where to find that at. Anyway, we're gonna go ahead and open up with some WWE. Now, I know you may argue WWE may not be a sport. It kind of is. I'm not really sure what it's categorized under. So I'm gonna go ahead and tell you right now, when I am doing this, Extreme Rules is currently happening. So I do not know any of the results of that. I do know Daniel Bryan was pulled from Extreme Rules. I believe it had something to do with his concussion injury that happened when they were wherever, from the UK tour, when he got pulled from the UK tour, I know he had like a concussion problems, and apparently I guess he was not able to wrestle at Extreme Rules, and him being the Intercontinental Champion. It's kind of surprising. Now, my favorite football team, the Ohio State Buckeyes. I'm just going to go ahead and give you updates because that's obviously what I like to do. I'm not even sure if there are any updates, and it doesn't look like there are. Anything that I don't see really newsworthy. So we're going to go ahead and move on to MLB news. The Mets are currently up 2-0 now. That score was 1-0 when I last said that. The Orioles got 20 hits in their 18-7 win of the Red Sox. The Rays complete the sweep of the Blue Jays. I know there's that big injury with Wainwright, Adam Wainwright. Achilles injury, expected to miss the rest of the season. Huge injury for the Cardinals, who are my favorite MLB team. I have Wainwright in fantasy. It's definitely going to hurt me as well. He's expected to miss the rest of the season. It's not confirmed, but assuming it is what it is, I think it's definitely going to bring up some controversy on should the NL get DH. Because, the reason he got hurt was because he was batting. And I never understood why there was a DH in one league and not a DH in another. Either let pitchers hit or don't let pitchers hit. I say that it should be DH in both leagues because I feel like pitchers are there to pitch the ball. That's what they do. They already have to be out there closest to the batter with probably the most risk of injury. Other than the catcher, but catcher's wearing protective gear. If they hit a line drive shot back at the pitcher, I know that I think it may happen today. I got an alert. Then that's how they get hurt. Then they have to go bat, and then either get hit by a pitch, or in Wainwright's case, I don't even know what happened to Wainwright. He said it felt like something hit him, but I don't think anything hit him when I looked back at the video. So I personally think that there should be a DH in the NL. Be sure to leave in the comments what you think about that. I like to have some open discussion in the comments. We can go ahead and look at MLB prospects. The Royals recall their 14 first-rounder Finnegan, who I believe had 2 wins in the World Series, if I'm correct. And I think they recalled him back to the NFL. I know a bunch of people are wondering if Chris Bryant's going to be able to live up to his expectations, hitting 9 home runs in spring training, and then I don't know. I know he's at a new position now, and I know that Javier Baez, also for the Cubs, is getting back to spring training. I know he had a death of his sister and left spring training early, so it looks like he's going to be back according to the site I am on. I may leave that down in the description if I can remember. And they also get Russell. They also called up Russell. Apparently his MLB debut was today versus Pittsburgh. I believe they did lose about 8-1, I want to say was the score. I may have to check that later. I do know that Kevin Love did get a shoulder injury during the Celtics-Cavs game in the first quarter of action. I don't actually have any report on what the injury is, if it's severe or not, if he's going to be able to be back for the next series, because they did finish the sweep. Let's see. The draft is only a few days away, I believe. I'm not actually positive when the draft is, but I know it's pretty close, if I'm correct. So let's go ahead and go to the draft, which we'll go ahead and look at college baseball real quickly because Oregon State defeated number 10 South Carolina 9-6. They take the series. Number 19 Iowa defeats Nebraska 5-1 in game 2 of In game 2, they sweep the series. I suppose they only had a 2-game series. Number 5 Arizona State defeats Tennessee Tech 16-4 to take the series. Number 24 Coastal Carolina defeats Presbyterian 9-2 in game 2 to sweep the series. And I believe that looks like it's going to be it. We can go ahead and look at. I actually don't really know what other sports like people would really be interested in. Um, a missing. No, that happened a while ago. Never mind. Sorry. Let's see. Let's see. College football recruiting. We'll go ahead and take a quick look at that. Vols quarterback commit once Ohio or wait. Let's see. Is it Ohio State or Oregon State? It's OSU. A Tennessee quarterback commit Jarrett Guarantano trying to get Kareem Walker from Ohio State, apparently, is what's happening. Four-star 2016 running back Washington commits to Syracuse. And then I think I have this list here that I wrote down on this piece of paper. Let me grab it. I saw this from another site. It says 10 college football quarterbacks who will break out in 2015. Paxton Lynch from Memphis. We got Matt Davis from SMU. Chad Voltic from Pitt. Christian Hackenberg from Penn State. Zach Terrell from Western Michigan. Joe Gray from San Jose State. Luke Falk from Washington State. Chad Kelly from Ole Miss. Taylor Lamb from Appalachian State. Appalachian State. And Nick Stevens from Colorado State. So no necessarily big name schools there, but definitely, could hopefully lead them to a bowl bid and hopefully a kind of a major bowl bid. Four-star offensive tackle Ham commits to Tennessee. Four-star wide receiver Lane commits to Michigan State. Four-star cornerback Jordan Parker commits to Bruins. And bulleted offensive lineman Rowdy Fredrickson enjoys viral fame. And I believe it looks like it, other than what's happened in previous days, which I'm not sure when these episodes are going to be coming out. Hopefully weekly, so I'm going to go for. We're going to go ahead and look at fantasy baseball. David Wright, who has the pulled hamstring, is to begin baseball activities on Monday. Vladimir Guerrero forcing the issue with Dodgers because I believe he's hit like 5 home runs in his 22 games that he's gotten to play in, or 22 at-bats. Ellsbury sitting in the finale versus Mets due to a hip injury. Hayward also for the Cardinals. A bunch of injuries have happened in previous days. Exits versus Brewers with groin tightness. And the Dodgers place Puig and hamstring and Peralta, I believe that's a relief pitcher, on the disabled list. And Scherzer, who is doubtful for his Tuesday start versus the Braves. Brandon McCarthy leaves the game with an elbow injury. Shane Victorino is placed on the DL. And Batista getting an acupuncture, aiming for his return against Boston. And Hanley Ramirez, with his foot injury, starts despite him leaving early in Friday's game. Cards Molina also exits after taking a foul tip-off knee in this game, which means that the Cardinals are just having tons of problems early in the year. Christian Yelich dealing with bulging disc in back. Simon, a pitcher for the Tigers, Simon starts the season 4-0, ends Tigers' 4-game skid. Ben Zobrist is to have knee surgery. I believe he's going to be out for at least most of the year, if not all of it. And it looks like MLB handed out their discipline to the 7 players from the Chicago White Sox and Kansas City Royals brawl. I know Chris Sale was involved in that, and it was a bummer to see that, but I also like, some fights sometimes. Looking at the NFL draft, we look at the Buccaneers are reportedly getting offers for number 1, but none are in serious contention. Gurley, on the knee, shows off his speed on a treadmill, apparently. Gordon and Waynes are the NFL draft's odd couple. Drafts number 2 tight end Walford hurt stock in interviews. Some teams haven't taken Gregory off their boards. And which positions are safest, riskiest at top of the draft? Or at top of the draft? I, of course, am getting all this from a site, and I will try to link that in the description. They say that the most likely position to have a all-pro player or a, definitely decent player, probably a pro bowler, we hope, looks to be linebacker. Or this is looks to be, was this last year? Oh, this is first round picks. There have been 87 linebackers picked, and 26.4 of them have been all pros. 23 of them have been all pros. 35 safeties, and 9 of them. 12 centers, 3 of them. 32 guards, 7 of them. 84 offensive tackles, 16 of them. 170 defensive linemen, 28 of them. 96 running backs, 15 of them have been all pros. 91 cornerbacks, 14 all pros. 99 wide receivers, 15 all pros. 28 tight ends, 4 all pros. 57 quarterbacks, and only 3 all pro quarterbacks. That is a 5.3%, which definitely means that this year in the NFL draft, that most people are expecting, of course, Winston to go first. But does that mean that Mariota's going to go second to the Titans, or will that be 2 back-to-back quarterbacks, and then will they be able to do what quarterbacks in the past have not been able to do? Only 3 out of the 57. According to Eli Manning on an extension with the New York Giants, apparently to him, he mentioned in a news report that nothing has been brought up. Sanchez and Tebow, just another camp arm, is what Sanchez said about Tebow. Of course, Tim Tebow getting signed by the Eagles. I'm excited for him. You look at what he did for the Broncos. He won them. He got them to the playoffs. He won them a playoff game in overtime. Yet the next year, they get Peyton Manning. I understand Peyton Manning's definitely the better quarterback. But he goes to the Jets, who put him in about 30 plays the entire year, and just in Wildcat formations. Then he gets cut from the Jets, and then he becomes an SEC announcer. After having such a great year, and he just falls off the grid. I hope he can at least get back on the grid and at least do something this year. The Panthers look to exercise Luke Kuechly's 5th-year option. The Titans look to exercise Kendall Wright, their wide receiver, his 5th-year option. I know there's been a lot of Phillip Rivers trade rumors. The NFL has looked into the alleged Dez Bryant tape, and they have found nothing. Possibilities for the number 2 draft pick. Here are what this site, of course, this is not, I don't want to take any credit for this, this is all what this site says. I am just bringing it to you. This looks to be the breaking down the possibilities for the number 2 overall pick. The number 2 overall pick appears to be the pivot point of the 2015 draft. What the Tennessee Titans do with that selection could have a significant ripple effect on how the first round plays out. While there have been rumors that the Tampa Bay Buccaneers could draft Oregon quarterback Marcus Mariota per Joe Bussell on Twitter, or even trade the number 1 overall pick, per Bob Glauber on Newsday, it remains widely presumed that Tampa Bay will kick off the draft by selecting Florida State quarterback Jameis Winston. On the other hand, there is no... Don't know that word. I am so sorry. I'm young. On what the Titans will do with the 2nd overall pick. While some believe the Titans will upgrade at quarterback by drafting Mariota, others expect them to trade pick. Perhaps Tennessee could select the top prospect who doesn't play quarterback in the 2nd slot. The rumor mill has been spinning fast, but it is still unlikely that the world will get a conclusive answer on what will happen with the number 8 overall pick until shortly after 8 p.m. Eastern Time on Thursday. With that in mind, we take a look at the realistic possibilities of what could happen at number 2 and how each of these possibilities could shape the draft to follow. Number 1, the Titans draft the best quarterback available. Whether it's Mariota or Winston, they're going to draft him, is what this one possibility says. Dolph Ziggler did win his match at Extreme Rules. Just got the alert just in. Hearing it here first, I doubt it, considering you probably aren't going to watch this for a while. The possibility number 2 is the Titans trade down. The Titans could trade down to the New York Jets or, say, the Chicago Bears, so they could get a better quarterback, and then the Titans could get more draft picks to try to upgrade the team, because right now the Titans look like they need to upgrade in pretty much every position. Also, the Rams and Browns are both, and Chargers are all options. Chargers could trade Phillip Rivers with him because Ken Wisenhunt was with Phillip Rivers. Ken Wisenhunt now the Titans coach. Eagles are also an option, although I do not believe that really anymore, considering they got Tebow, which means all they're really looking for is just kind of more quarterback to see a competition for that position. And possibility number 3, Titans draft the best non-quarterback available, as in the USC defensive lineman Leonard Williams, who I've heard him being 6'5", 302 pounds. He absolutely looks like a beast. And so, me being a pretty big Titans fan, I'm not really ashamed to admit it, but definitely they've had better years. I would love to see this guy, or Amari Cooper or Kevin White. I would love to see either of those. I just need to see someone who will be a playmaker. I need to see someone who will try to bring, at least look like they're going to try to bring the Titans back into playoff contention, because for the past couple years, it was Chris Johnson. He didn't even want to play with the Titans. It was obvious. He didn't show up to training camp because he didn't want money. He wanted money. And then when he got all the money, then he ran for like 800 yards. I just want to see someone who will bring the Titans, at least show a spark, because Bishop Sankey last year did not do as well as I think many of us were hoping. I personally had wished that we had gotten Carlos Hyde, because he was still on the board when we had the pick. Carlos Hyde, I know you're probably saying, he's from Ohio State, that's why you're saying it. That is one of the reasons why I'm saying it. I would really like him to be the next Eddie George, who's from Ohio State, went to the Titans. But definitely, he just had more power, yet he also had speed. Sankey is like 5'9", and he just runs around his line, yet we had no line to run around, basically. Our line is bad. So I think we need to trade down, is my opinion. I think we need to draft a good amount of offensive linemen, some defensive linemen, maybe a late-round quarterback to try to maybe get the start, and some wide receivers, and possibly some cornerbacks or safeties. So they have which possibility is most likely to happen, and this was a thing that you get to pick, and 52.1% said they would trade down, 26.8% said they would draft the quarterback, and 21.1% said they would not draft the quarterback. I think that's the order it's going to go in. I think they're either going to trade down, they're going to get Mariota, because I believe that the Bucs are going to get Winston. I don't think they're going to draft a non-quarterback. I think if the Bucs get Mariota, I don't even know if we'll get Winston, to be completely honest. I think we'll trade down. I think, just like there's not been hardly any communication between Winston and the Titans, what I've at least heard of, because most people are saying the Bucs will win. Let's see. One of the longtime executives says that Jameis Winston reminds him of Jamarcus Russell, and if you don't know who that is, he was the number 1 pick for the Raiders and absolutely was a bust. I believe it looks to be about it in the world of sports for pretty much just really today, kind of this week, and my dog's in here eating food from the ground. Good job. This looks like it's going to be about it, according to Dale Jr. on Stewart Contact. Dale Jr. says that he hit me during the race that I believe happened today, and Kurt Busch did win that, the Toyota Owners 400 at Richmond, and that looks to be about it. I'll go ahead and give you some updated scores and see if there's been any new updates. A-Rod hits his 659th career home run. This happened 4 minutes ago. He is now one shy of tying Willie Mays to become 4th on the all-time list. I personally think that he should have at least had some type of punishment, as in he gets like a couple seasons of home runs taken away, because obviously it was proven he was taking steroids during those years, and that's why he got suspended. But now, yeah, Mauer came up clutch with an 11th inning triple. As for the Twins, and the Twins are actually looking decent this year. And Dolph Ziggler did beat Sheamus. Hope you guys enjoyed this first ever episode of Sports Podcast. Be sure to like the video if you want to see more. Be sure to comment on any of the things I said to comment on, or what you want me to talk about, as in sports-wise, or about a certain team, because I can definitely look into that. If you guys enjoy, hit that like button. Be sure to subscribe to Podcast Universe for more content like this. Thank you guys for watching, and goodbye.